best robust analysis you can do is to use the structural equation modeling, Amos 5, Amos software. Yeah, so it is Amos that can run this analysis pretty well, and can also run this analysis pretty well. But I don't know how many of us do you actually have Amos 5, Amos software? Sorry.
No, Doc, I don't have.
Doc, me, I don't have too.
I have it, but I don't know how to run it.
Okay.
I only know
Hey!
a little, but
How do
not
we get the process?
really.
Okay, if you have but you have SPSS, right?
I have
Yes.
SPSS.
Okay. And so the process macro,
I have
you can, okay, but you can actually run SPSS very well. If you can run SPSS very well, process macro is just a plugin developed by Andrew Hayes. So you need to download it and then install it in your process macro, so it can run mediation moderation analysis for you. But if you want to run, you can actually run this. If you want to run some, supposing we don't have this particular line, going from learning certificacy to this, and then we don't have also career choice in this work, we can actually decide to use normal. We can use hierarchical regression. We may decide to use hierarchical regression to test, to see, because there we will include, maybe we'll first include the independent variable, then to see the effects on graduate employability, we can put learning self-efficacy and outcome expectation, and then so we now compare using the R-square change or the R-square values and stuff like that. But these sort of analysis, they are good, but not really, can't really impress sometimes if you're actually targeting top journals. So that is why you really need to understand structural equation modeling. I will be running a workshop, I think by the end of this month, a 3-day workshop on structural equation modeling. So anybody who is interested can also join, but unfortunately it's not a free event. So because it's going to be a 3 days, and I will make available the Amos 5 to people who register so they can install, and then we do practice. So at this point, colleagues, I think what we might do now is, now we have gotten an idea of what we want to do. Now we are convinced, we are now sure what we want to do. At this point, the next step we need to take is, how do we test each of these variables? How do we get how do we get scales? So, there's a problem that we actually have here. The problem we have here is when you are doing your research, you use your hand to develop items. That's a different ballgame. For example, let me show you something. Quickly. Let me share the screen. Okay. So you can see this. Look at this. So are you seeing this paper published by International Journal of Vocational and Guidance Study by Springer? Look at the title: Development and Validation of Career-Related Teacher Support Scale. Data from China. So this study, what it did was to give you already validated scales to measure anything that has to do with career-related support. For example, in this study where Dr. Yomi talked about institutional career-related support, you can adapt this scale Because look at it, it said, let me read the abstract for you. It says support from teachers is essential to students' career preparation and planning. This study is about employability, career choice, employability. Okay, so now you could see, for example, this study is because it's focusing more on employability, which is career related. So we can adapt this scale. So you said exploratory and confirmatory factor analysis indicates 3 types of perceived career related support. Now, so you could see that I want to briefly run up this to show you different analyses before they were able to arrive and validate the items. So you don't get up in the morning and say, I want to work on teacher support. You begin to develop your own item on your own in that same study. There are 2 different things. Developing items for a study is a different research on its own.
Exactly.
Now, testing hypotheses, doing your own research, you want to test a hypothesis, is a different research of its own, different ball game. Concern validity. It doesn't concern. So you need to be very, very careful about that. So, and that is why the international journals will always return our paper. For example, you begin to see someone develop items. Somebody is talking about teacher institutional support. Person will begin to develop items. Access to library. Strongly agree, disagree. No. As I go to school, the classroom opens every morning. Strongly agree, disagree. And the person will sit down in his room, in his bedroom, and mark the thing. Your house are mark devoted. That's nothing I have not seen. I don't see it. I've seen it all. I've read about it. You see somebody with all people in Ekiti State, everybody, all the university students in Ekiti State, and all the people that is. Somebody sent one paper. One journal sent a paper, and he said the population is 12,000 university students in one place. He quoted like that, and then he now said that the sample is 125.
Hey.
And I said from almost 12,000, and he now brought it down to. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So. Probably next week we'll need to talk about some of these things. Maybe we'll have a free discussion like this, and then we can talk about some of these things. Okay, so you can see how let me just quickly run you, so you can see there are a lot of analysis that went on in this study, and then before you could see these are factor 1. Enhancement of self-exploration, informational support, emotional support. So Dr. Yemi, what is important here is that when you want to use this particular moderating variable, which can strengthen or weaken the effect, where we have the institutional support, you want to, if you must adapt a score, you need to explain in your work. If you are building on anybody's assumption. For example, if I am to use this study, I would say building on or relying on Zhang and Yuan 2020, right? I will now explain that in that study that they categorized teacher support into 3, which is I will now come here and then I will explain. You see, so they said is enhancement of self-exploration, informational support, and then emotional support. So I can decide that in the context of this study is particularly interested in informational support. I don't know what I'm communicating.
Yes.
So if you do that, nobody is going to ask you, what about, okay, because if this is your manuscript and I'm reading it, and you claim that you used you adapted the informational support, institutional support, career-related support from Zang. I will quickly go and search Zang. I'll go to your reference list. I'll pull it down, and then I'll go online, download it, download the paper, and go through it. And then when I go through it under review, when I'm reviewing your paper, I'll simply ask you, Zang developed 3 factors. In your study, you used only informational support. Why? And there is no explanation to why you had to use only one instead of the 3 of them, right? So you need to explain carefully why you have to go for one instead of all of them. So in research, clarity is important. You must have to clear every step you are taking. So now let us go to where they listed these variables. So you can see under appendix, you see career-related teacher support. English version, because this study was it was conducted in China. So let us go to the informational support, which I'm interested in. You see it here. Look at that. It said, my teachers at my school, college, university. So this automatically fits into the institutional support that Yomi was talking about. So my teachers at my university explain to me the prospect of my profession, because you're talking about employability. 2, so this will form your items. So let me go back to PowerPoint. Somebody is yawning. Are we already sleeping?
No, not at all.
Okay, so we could see the PowerPoint now, right?
Yeah.
Hope you can. I hope. Okay. So at this point, so you could see, and I would say, if I want to develop the items, I would say using. I would say, for example, under measures, I would say informational. Okay, I would say institutional support, career-related support. I would say this variable was measured adapting the teacher career-related support scale. This is in your paper after the method or methodology. I'll say Zang. I don't know whether I got it well. Zang and UN, something like that. 2020. Okay. Items included. I will come here and say, I will now list these items. Okay, so I will now list these items. I will say my university explains to me the prospects of my profession. So each of these items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, becomes your item in the questionnaire that you're going to design. The questionnaire that you're going to design, you give to students, we read like this. Number 1, item 1. Item 1, my university. Item 2 could be my, my university explains to me possible career paths of related positions and stuff like so. These so 5 of them will automatically form your item. So you can actually in your response, you can have your strongly agree, you can have your agree, you can have your
Disagree.
you are going to have your undecided or neutral. You're going to have disagree. You're going to have strongly disagree. So there was an argument that I showed one day, and somebody was arguing. Why must we assign?
This undecided. I've heard that argument before.
I've had it too. I must you assign 3
to undecided.
For someone who does not have any option.
No opinion.
No, the issue is that the claim is that somebody who did not say anything, right?
Yes.
Why must you assign? When those people that contributed, you gave them 2 and the 0. Abi?
And 1, yes.
And 1.
Very good. Very good. Let me take you to this study. Maybe I can scroll up to previous studies. Or in fact, let me better explain to you some
question.
Yeah.
What's the question?
The essence of undecided. Hello, are we together?
Yes.
So the essence of undecided, you are looking at it from your individual perspective. That's not why it was put there. This particular undecided was used to reduce skewness. It can be used to reduce skewing, your data being skewed towards positive. Are you getting the point I'm trying to make? For example,
yes.
If you remove this, hold on, if you remove undecided, and you assign, I think you used to assign, in our local studies, we assign 5 to these, we assign 4 to these, we assign 3, we assign 2, we assign that. Now, when we remove this and we assign 4 plus 3, that will give us 7. Abi?
Okay.
Yes.
And when we assign 2 plus 1, that will give us 3. So you could see the difference between. So you are already giving a whole lot of 4 skewing towards positive. That is why when you see typical strongly agree research, all right, the whole study, if they have 21 items, all the 21 items will agree. Everything. And I will always ask myself, why must all of them agree? You mean everything is good? It can't be possible.
It's not always like that.
So, but when you acknowledge 3, when you add 3 to the neutral point, because you see that you now give this 3, we have to maintain a balance. That is number 1. Number 2 is that it helps to reduce, strike a balance. For example, if you give me 10 items to respond, and you need to also give me the chance to say, I don't want to talk. Is allowed in research, because research is not far away from us. So you need to also give me the chance to say, I don't want to respond, or I just want to be silent on this particular issue. And that will give that person the right to say undecided. And if you force me, if you don't put this in your research, if you don't put undecided or neutral in your work, it means you are forcing me to either accept by force or to disagree by force. That is the truth. That is the truth. And again, let me also